What if I told you that the most dangerous place for an adult over 60 isn't a busy street or a crowded airport, but the very place you feel safest, your own home? It's a difficult thought to accept, but the numbers are truly startling. A groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen Center for Healthy Aging followed over 8,000 adults between the ages of 65 and 85 for a decade. Their findings were shocking. They discovered that nearly 60% of all non-illness-related injuries requiring a hospital visit in that age group were directly caused by performing what most of us would consider simple, everyday household chores. These are the tasks we've done our entire lives without a second thought, but our bodies change, and the risks associated with these once simple tasks multiply significantly as we age. Today we are going to talk about the 10 most dangerous of these chores, not to scare you, but to empower you with knowledge so you can continue to live independently and, most importantly, safely in the home you love. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We're reading and replying to every single comment. It helps us create a wonderful community here, and we love to see where our viewers are from around the world. We will count down from number 10 to the single most dangerous chore at number 1. Let's get started. Number 10. Deep cleaning with harsh chemicals. We all love a sparkling clean bathroom or a kitchen that shines. For decades, we've been taught that the smell of bleach or ammonia is the smell of clean. However, for an aging respiratory system, those smells are a signal of danger. As we get older, our lung capacity naturally decreases, and the delicate tissues in our airways become more sensitive. The powerful chemicals in many household cleaners, known as volatile organic compounds or VOCs, can be incredibly irritating. They can trigger asthma attacks, worsen conditions like COPD, and even cause chemical burns on the skin or in the eyes with just a small splash. The biggest danger, however, comes from dizziness. The fumes from these products, especially in a small, poorly ventilated space like a bathroom, can quickly lead to lightheadedness and a loss of balance, which is a perfect recipe for a dangerous fall. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 78-year-old retired librarian from Ohio. Margaret took immense pride in her home. Every Friday, she would deep clean her 2 bathrooms. One particular morning, she was scrubbing the shower with a strong bleach-based cleaner. The fan was on, but the small room still felt thick with fumes. She started to feel a little woozy, but she was determined to finish the job. She thought to herself, just this one last spot. As she reached to scrub a tile, a wave of dizziness washed over her. She stumbled backward, catching her foot on the bath mat and falling hard against the vanity. Thankfully, she only suffered a severely bruised hip and a nasty fright, but her doctor told her she was lucky. The fall could have easily resulted in a broken hip, a life-altering injury. Margaret's incident was a wake-up call. The risk of a fall from dizziness caused by chemical fumes is a hidden danger we rarely consider. So what is the safer alternative? First, ventilation is key. Always open a window and turn on an exhaust fan. Better yet, consider switching to gentler, natural cleaning solutions. A simple mixture of white vinegar and water in a spray bottle can handle most everyday cleaning tasks without any dangerous fumes. For tougher jobs, baking soda works as a wonderful, gentle abrasive. You can clean your entire home effectively and safely without ever having to inhale those toxic chemicals. It's not about letting your standards slip. It's about cleaning smarter and protecting your lungs and your balance. Number 9. Doing your own heavy-duty yard work. There's a special satisfaction that comes from tending to your own yard. The smell of fresh-cut grass, the beauty of a well-pruned hedge. But the tools we often use to achieve these results, like lawnmowers, hedge trimmers, and especially chainsaws, become increasingly hazardous as we age. Our reaction times are not what they used to be. A mower hitting a rock can kick back with surprising force, and a moment's loss of balance could lead to a catastrophic foot injury. The vibrations from these power tools can also be problematic, aggravating arthritis in the hands and wrists. And let's not forget about hearing loss. The noise from a gas-powered lawnmower can be over 90 decibels. To put that in perspective, that's as loud as a subway train pulling into a station. Prolonged exposure without hearing protection can cause permanent damage to the sensitive hair cells in our inner ear. This brings me to the story of Arthur, an 82-year-old former mechanic from Texas who had always maintained his own half-acre lot. He was a capable man who had worked with tools his whole life. One hot afternoon, he was using a chainsaw to cut a fallen limb from an old oak tree. The saw was heavy and the heat was getting to him, but he was almost finished. As he made the final cut, the limb shifted unexpectedly, causing the chainsaw to kick back violently. His reaction was a split second too slow. The saw grazed his forearm, causing a deep laceration that required dozens of stitches and severed a tendon. Arthur was fortunate. The injury could have been much, much worse. During his recovery, he reflected that his strength and his reflexes just weren't what they were 10 years ago. The tools hadn't changed, but he had. The solution here is about delegation and using the right tools for the right person. For large lawns, consider hiring a local teenager or a professional landscaping service. It might seem like an unnecessary expense, but it is a small price to pay for your safety and well-being. If you still enjoy gardening, focus on lighter tasks. Use hand clippers instead of power trimmers. Tend to your flower beds or your vegetable garden. You can still enjoy the sunshine and the satisfaction of working with your hands, but without the risks associated with heavy, dangerous machinery. Your yard should be a place of peace, not a source of potential injury. Number 8. Moving furniture or lifting heavy boxes. We all get the urge to rearrange the living room or finally tackle those heavy boxes in the attic. We think, it's just one chair, or this box isn't that heavy. But for a senior, lifting a heavy object improperly is like playing Russian roulette with your spine. As we age, the discs in our spine lose fluid and become less flexible, and our back muscles are not as strong as they once were. Lifting something as seemingly light as a 30-pound box of books, especially if you bend at the waist instead of the knees, can exert over 300 pounds of pressure on your lower back. Think about that for a moment. That's like having a large adult man stand on your spine. This can lead to a host of painful problems, herniated discs, muscle tears, and debilitating sciatic nerve pain. Beyond the back, there is also the risk of developing a hernia, where an organ pushes through a weak spot in the muscle, which often requires surgery to repair. Let's talk about David, a 71-year-old retired accountant from Florida. David and his wife Sarah decided to swap their bedroom with the guest room. David, feeling perfectly healthy, decided he could move the heavy oak dresser himself. He wrapped his arms around it, bent over, and heaved. He felt a sudden, sharp, electric shock-like pain shoot down his leg, and his back gave out. He collapsed to the floor in agony. He had herniated a disc in his lumbar spine. What he thought would be a simple 5-minute task resulted in months of physical therapy, chronic pain, and a loss of independence he found deeply frustrating. He couldn't play with his grandchildren or go for his daily walks, all because he overestimated his own ability and lifted one heavy object the wrong way. The message here is crystal clear. Do not lift heavy objects alone, period. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence and self-preservation. If you need to move furniture, call your children, your grandchildren, or a neighbor. There are also professional moving services that you can hire for an hour or two to do the heavy lifting for you. For those boxes in the attic or garage, break them down. Instead of carrying one 40-pound box, make 4 trips with 10 pounds each. Remember the proper lifting technique. Keep your back straight, bend with your knees and hips, and hold the object close to your body. But the very best advice is simply to ask for help. Your health is far more valuable than your pride. Number 7. Cleaning high shelves and windows. Reaching for something on a high shelf or stretching to clean the top of a window seems innocent enough. But this action, which involves looking up, reaching overhead, and often standing on your tiptoes, can dangerously compromise your balance. As we age, our sense of balance or proprioception naturally declines. The complex system involving our inner ears, our eyes, and the nerves in our feet that tells our brain where our body is in space becomes less efficient. When you look up and extend your arm, you are shifting your center of gravity and making it much harder for this system to work correctly. This can lead to a sudden feeling of instability, and a simple step backward to regain balance can easily turn into a fall. Furthermore, reaching overhead for prolonged periods can also trigger vertigo in some individuals, or cause a carotid sinus reflex, where pressure on the neck can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure and heart rate, leading to fainting. Consider Rose, a 76-year-old retired piano teacher from Pennsylvania. Rose was meticulous. One afternoon, she noticed a cobweb in the high corner of her living room ceiling. She didn't want to go get the step stool, so she stood on her toes and stretched with the duster, reaching just a little bit further. In that moment of overextension, she lost her balance. She fell backward, hitting her head on the edge of her coffee table. The fall resulted in a concussion and a fractured wrist. It was a terrifying experience that shook her confidence for months. She had to rely on her daughter for help with basic tasks, all because of one tiny cobweb. The risk was simply not worth the reward. The alternatives are simple and readily available. Invest in long-handled cleaning tools. You can buy dusters, window squeegees, and ceiling fan cleaners with telescoping handles that can extend up to 10 or 15 feet. This allows you to keep your feet planted firmly on the ground, your head level, and your center of gravity stable. For items on high shelves, use a sturdy, well-designed grabber tool, and for anything that requires getting on a stool or ladder, which we will discuss later, it is always best to ask someone younger and more stable to help you. Protecting your head and your hips from a fall is one of the most important things you can do for your long-term health and independence. Before we continue with our top 6, if you have been enjoying the video so far and finding it helpful, please take a moment to hit that like button so more seniors can see this important information, and subscribe to our channel for more health tips. Your support helps us immensely. Number 6. Shoveling snow. For those of you living in colder climates, shoveling snow might feel like an unavoidable winter ritual. But it is, without a doubt, one of the most perilous activities a senior can undertake. The danger here is not just about slipping on the ice, which is a significant risk in itself. The primary danger of shoveling snow is the immense and sudden strain it places on the cardiovascular system. Think about it. You are often in cold air, which causes your blood vessels to constrict, raising your blood pressure. You are performing strenuous physical exertion, often after being sedentary. Lifting a shovel full of heavy, wet snow is a significant weight. This combination of cold temperatures and sudden, intense effort can cause a rapid increase in heart rate and blood pressure, which can trigger a fatal heart attack, especially in individuals with pre-existing and sometimes undiagnosed heart conditions. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that the risk of a cardiac event increases by over 30% in the 24 hours following strenuous snow shoveling for adults over 60. Let's think about that. A 30% increase. Let me tell you about George, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from Illinois. George was in good shape. He walked every day and felt strong. After the first big snowfall of the year, he went out to clear his driveway just as he had done for 40 years. He didn't feel any warning signs, he wasn't out of breath. But the sudden exertion on his heart was too much. He suffered a massive heart attack and collapsed in his driveway. A neighbor found him and called for help, and thankfully George survived. But he had to undergo emergency surgery and a long, difficult rehabilitation. His cardiologist was very clear with him. He was never to shovel snow again. The risk was simply too great. George's story is a sobering reminder that even if you feel healthy, the hidden strain of this activity can be a silent killer. There is no safe way for a senior with any history of heart issues, high blood pressure, or a sedentary lifestyle to shovel snow. The safest alternative is to have someone else do it. Hire a neighborhood kid. Use a professional snow removal service. Ask a family member. If you have no other choice and you are in excellent health with your doctor's explicit approval, you must take precautions. Use a smaller, more ergonomic shovel. Push the snow rather than lifting it. Take frequent breaks every 10 to 15 minutes, and dress in layers to avoid getting too cold. But honestly, the best advice is to put the shovel away for good and let someone else handle the snow. Your life is worth more than a clear driveway. Number 5. Unclogging drains with liquid drain cleaners. A slow-draining sink or a clogged bathtub is a common household nuisance. The quickest and seemingly easiest solution is to pour a bottle of chemical drain cleaner down the pipe. However, These products are some of the most corrosive and dangerous chemicals you can have in your home. They work by creating a powerful chemical reaction to dissolve hair and grease. The active ingredients are often either sulfuric acid or sodium hydroxide, also known as lye. These are incredibly caustic substances. If they splash on your skin, they can cause severe chemical burns in a matter of seconds. If the fumes are inhaled, especially by sensitive older lungs, they can cause respiratory distress. The most frightening risk is an eye injury. A tiny, accidental splash into the eye can cause permanent corneal damage and even blindness. The reaction time needed to flush the eye properly is something we may no longer have. Let's consider the case of Eleanor, an 80-year-old widow from Oregon. She noticed her bathroom sink was draining slowly. She put on her glasses and carefully poured a liquid drain cleaner down the drain. What she didn't realize was that the clog was very solid. The powerful chemical solution had nowhere to go, and due to the chemical reaction, it erupted back out of the drain, splashing onto her face and arms. She screamed in pain. The lye in the cleaner immediately began to burn her skin. Her glasses protected her eyes from a direct hit, but a small amount still got in. She was left with second-degree burns on her cheek and a painful corneal abrasion that took weeks to heal. Her vision in that eye was blurry for months. It was a horrific accident from a task she thought was simple. So, what are the safe alternatives? Prevention is the best medicine. Use drain covers to catch hair and food particles before they go down the drain. Once a month, pour a kettle of boiling water down your drains to melt away any grease buildup. If you do get a clog, try a mechanical solution first. A simple drain snake, which is a long, flexible tool you can buy at any hardware store, can often pull out the clog without any chemicals. A plunger is also a very effective tool. If those fail, a mixture of baking soda and vinegar can sometimes work wonders. Pour a cup of baking soda down the drain, followed by a cup of vinegar. Let it fizz and work its magic for an hour, then flush with hot water. These methods are far safer for you and for your pipes. Reserve calling a plumber for the most stubborn clogs. Never risk your skin and your eyesight for a slow drain. Number 4. Anything involving a ladder or step stool. We've touched on this already, but it deserves its own spot high on our list because it is linked to the #1 cause of injury-related death for seniors: falls. According to a recent report from the Mayo Clinic, over 1/3 of all adults over 65 will fall each year, and falls from ladders account for a disproportionately high number of the most severe injuries, including broken hips and traumatic brain injuries. As we've discussed, our balance, eyesight, and muscle strength decline with age. A ladder, which requires 3 points of contact at all times, becomes an incredibly unstable environment. A slight shift in weight, a moment of dizziness, or a missed step can have catastrophic consequences. A fall from just 2 or 3 feet up on a step stool can be enough to break a hip, an injury from which many seniors never fully recover their prior mobility. Let me tell you about Robert, a 74-year-old retired engineer from Colorado. Robert was a very practical man. He noticed a smoke detector chirping in his hallway, which had a 10-foot ceiling. He had a tall stepladder in the garage and thought he could easily change the battery himself. He climbed the ladder, and as he reached up to twist the detector, he stretched just a little too far, shifting his center of gravity. The ladder wobbled. He tried to correct it but overcompensated. The ladder tipped and he came crashing down onto the hardwood floor. He fractured his femur and 3 ribs. The injury was severe, requiring surgery to insert a rod into his leg. The recovery was long and painful. He lost a significant amount of his independence and had to move into an assisted living facility sooner than he ever planned, all because he climbed a ladder to change a battery. The rule here should be absolute. If you are over 65, your feet should not leave the floor. There are no exceptions. For changing light bulbs or smoke detector batteries, use a light bulb changing pole or ask for help. For dusting high places, use an extension duster. For getting something from a high shelf, use a grabber tool. If a task absolutely requires a ladder, such as cleaning gutters or painting a high wall, you must hire a professional or ask a younger family member to do it. Selling your ladder at a garage sale might be the single best thing you can do for your long-term health. It is a tool whose risk factor simply becomes too high as we age. It's not worth it. Number 3, handling electrical repairs. When we've lived in our homes for a long time, we get comfortable. We've changed a light fixture before. We've replaced a faulty outlet. It seems simple enough. But working with electricity is incredibly unforgiving. A small mistake can have fatal consequences. As we age, our vision may not be as sharp, making it harder to see the small screws and colored wires. Our hands may not be as steady, which can lead to a wire slipping and touching something it shouldn't. The most significant change, however, might be in our skin. Older skin is thinner and often drier, which can actually decrease the body's resistance to electrical current, making a shock that might have just startled a younger person much more dangerous, potentially leading to severe burns or cardiac arrest. Think about a man named Frank, an 81-year-old who had been a hobbyist woodworker his whole life. He was very handy. The light switch in his workshop started flickering. He'd replaced switches before and thought nothing of it. He went to the breaker box and flipped what he thought was the right switch to cut the power. But his eyesight wasn't what it used to be, and he had misread the faded label on the panel. The circuit was still live. As he unscrewed the old switch, his screwdriver slipped and touched the live wire. The electrical current shot through his body, throwing him backward. The shock sent his heart into an arrhythmia. He was lucky his wife was home and heard the crash. She called 911 immediately. The paramedics were able to stabilize his heart, but it was a terrifyingly close call. He had done the task a dozen times before, but one small mistake due to age-related changes nearly cost him his life. The alternative here is non-negotiable. Do not perform your own electrical work. This includes changing outlets, light fixtures, or ceiling fans. The risks are simply too high. For any and all electrical issues, you must call a licensed electrician. They are trained professionals who understand the dangers and know how to perform the work safely. Yes, it will cost money, but it is an investment in your life. No amount of money saved is worth the risk of electrocution or starting an electrical fire in your home. This is one area where the do-it-yourself spirit must be retired for good. Number 2, pest and rodent control. No one wants to share their home with ants, spiders, mice, or other pests. The immediate instinct is often to go to the store and buy powerful poisons, traps, and sprays to eliminate the problem quickly. However, these methods are fraught with hidden dangers for seniors. Many rodent poisons are anticoagulants, meaning they prevent blood from clotting. If a pet, or tragically a grandchild, were to ingest them, the consequences could be fatal. Handling these poisons also carries a risk of absorption through the skin. Setting traps, especially powerful spring-loaded traps for rodents, requires a significant amount of hand strength and dexterity. A slip can result in a badly broken finger or a deep laceration. And the act of placing these traps often requires getting down on your hands and knees in dark, cramped spaces like undersinks or in crawl spaces, which is a fall risk in itself and can be incredibly difficult for aging joints. Let's talk about Brenda, a 72-year-old woman living in a rural part of California. She discovered mice in her pantry. Horrified, she bought several traditional spring-loaded traps. She got down on her hands and knees to place one behind the refrigerator. The space was tight, and as she was trying to set the powerful spring, her arthritic fingers slipped. The trap snapped shut on her thumb with incredible force, shattering the bone. The pain was excruciating, and she was in such an awkward position that she struggled to get back up. The injury required surgery to pin the bone, and she lost a significant amount of function in her dominant hand. It was a painful and disabling injury that stemmed from trying to solve what seemed like a small problem. The safe approach to pest control is an integrated one. The first and most important step is to seal up your home. Use steel wool and caulk to fill any small holes or cracks in your foundation and around pipes where pests can enter. Keep your kitchen immaculately clean, storing all food in airtight containers. This prevention is far more effective than any poison. For an existing problem, consider using safer, modern alternatives like electronic ultrasonic repellents or non-toxic sticky traps. For any significant infestation, especially of rodents or stinging insects like wasps, it is absolutely essential to call a professional pest control service. They have the training and the proper equipment to handle the problem safely and effectively without putting you at risk of injury or exposure to dangerous chemicals. Number 1. Scrubbing floors or bathtubs on hands and knees. This might surprise you. It's not dramatic like a chainsaw or a live electrical wire. It's a quiet, seemingly harmless task, but we have placed it at number 1 because it combines several major risk factors into one common activity. When you get down on your hands and knees, you are putting immense pressure on your joints, particularly your knees and wrists, which are often affected by arthritis. The position itself can be unstable, but the single greatest danger is the act of getting back up. This movement requires significant core strength, leg strength, and good balance, 3 things that naturally decline as we age. The risk of losing your balance while trying to stand, or simply not having the strength to push yourself up and becoming stuck, is incredibly high. A fall in a bathroom with its hard, wet surfaces is particularly dangerous. This chore is a recipe for joint pain, muscle strain, and life-altering falls. A recent study from the JAMA Internal Medicine Journal on domestic accidents found that for seniors living alone, a significant percentage of long lie events where a person falls and is unable to get up for more than an hour occurred in the bathroom. Let me tell you about Sarah, the 79-year-old wife of David, whom we mentioned earlier. A few months after David's back injury, Sarah was determined to keep up with the housework. She decided to scrub the bathtub. She got down on her knees and went to work. When she finished, she felt a little stiff. She placed her hands on the edge of the tub to push herself up. Her hands were wet and slipped. Her legs, stiff from kneeling, didn't have the strength to hold her. She fell backward, hitting her head on the toilet and fracturing her hip. Because she was alone, she lay on the cold tile floor for nearly 2 hours before David came home and found her. The fractured hip, combined with the long lie, led to complications, including pneumonia. It took her the better part of a year to regain a fraction of her previous mobility. It was a devastating event that all started with scrubbing the tub. The solution is to clean vertically. Never get down on your hands and knees to clean again. There are wonderful tools available today designed specifically for this purpose. Invest in a long-handled scrubber with interchangeable heads for cleaning floors, tile grout, and bathtubs. Use a steam mop for hard floors, which cleans and sanitizes with just water, no bending required. For the bathtub, a daily spray of a no-scrub shower cleaner after you use it can prevent buildup from ever starting. The goal is to adapt your methods to fit your body's current abilities. Your safety is more important than a spotless floor. So there you have it, the 10 most dangerous household chores you should consider avoiding or modifying after the age of 60. The key takeaway today isn't that you should stop caring for your home or stop being active. It's about shifting your mindset from doing everything yourself to doing everything safely. It's about recognizing that your body has changed and the way you work around your home needs to change with it. It's about being smart, being proactive, and valuing your health and independence above all else. Now that you've heard our list, what is one chore you have already decided to stop doing? Or what is one safety tip you use at home that we didn't mention? Share your wisdom in the comments below. Your experience could help someone else in our community stay safe. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos to help you live a healthier, safer life. Please remember, I am not a medical doctor. The information in this video is for educational purposes and is based on extensive research and experience, helping people with their health and wellness routines. Always consult with your personal physician before making any changes to your physical activities.